on my microphone. Hello, guys, and welcome to another live class for today. Thank you so much, those of you that are joining. Okay. Pretty Beast teaches. Thank you so much. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. So I'm just like doing a little bit of prep. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining. Please, if you can hear me, let me know. If the sound is okay, please let me know. I would really want to know. So no, I'll know what I will adjust and what I would not adjust. Okay. So thank you so much for joining. Mercy, you're welcome. Pretty big. Good afternoon. Happy New Month. Yes, that's true. Happy New Month. Thank you so much for joining. So, like I said, today's tutorial, we're going to be doing a simple boo, just a with side ruche. So that's what we are going to be doing. So this point now, what I'm just trying to do, I'm trying to just prepare some things that might waste our time. So that's what I'm trying to just like do. So we are going to be starting now. So I'll get to the fabric now and then we'll start. Okay. Okay, so like I said, it is a simple process. Welcome. So this is the fabric that we're going to be making use of. So you can see my fabric. So I'm going to measure this fabric so that we know the exact amount of fabric that we're making use of. So this is actually like, it's not even up to 2 yards. So it's 30 inches. Let's see. So it's 30 inches. It's not up to 2 yards. So that's like 60 inches. That's like 1 yard, and 1 yard is 36. That is less than 2 yards. It's less than 2 yards. So that's what we're going to be making use of. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be flipping it this way. So it's going to be staying this way. So we're going to be placing it. So the next thing we're going to do, you can see this is already folded into two. So I'm going to fold this into four because we're going to cut our back and front together, and everything is going to be cut together. Okay. So I'll fold it together to make sure that what I because I'll cut the back and the front together. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do, so I hope you can see my table. So I'll just be moving it like to and fro. So that will make it easy. So let me turn the wrong side so that I can add my chalk on it. So I'll fold this like this. So my leftover fabric, this is actually leftover fabric. So what I'm going to do now, let me get a chalk that you can see. If not, if I use this white one, it will not be obvious. So let's make use of a yellow chalk. It's a simple process. So you can see like what I'm putting on now, cut together sleeve. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure what I have here. So for the neckline, I'm going to make use of bias, the bias bind. I'm even thinking of this kind of neckline that I did here. Pipe the neckline might be fine also. Don't you think we should even do one? I will pipe the neckline. Just pipe it round like this. Okay. So here's what I should do. I'm thinking of changing this style. Oh. I'm thinking of sewing. You see what I'm putting on like this? That's the neckline is going to be like this, and then it will have a slit here, and then but this to be. I'm not going to turn it up. So I think let's do that. So let's do the one that can just pipe the neckline neatly. So we're not going to be making use of this anymore. So what I have here is 19 inches. Okay, so you can see my 10 inches. That's from my across back. And then the length that I have is about 31 inches. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to cut. From this point, I'm going to come down by like 1 inch, and then I'll mark the 1 inch that way. After marking the one, so like I said, I'm doing like this kind of neckline. So I'll just connect that's you can see what I'm doing. I'll just connect that, like connect it to this point like this to like open this up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, so let's open this up like this. So we're done. So the next thing, I want to mark our neckline. Okay, so to our neckline, we're going to come to this point like this, and then we are going to mark 3 inches. Yes, no, 3.5 inches, because the customer, she's bigger than me. So I'll use 3.5 inches. I'll mark the 3.5 inches here. And then from this point, I'm going to mark, so that's for the back. So I'm going to use like 1.5 inch for the back neckline. So I'm going to mark the back line this way. So just a little bit of a curve. And then I am going to cut this out like this. Okay. So that's for my back neckline. You can see it is a simple process. So now from these two pieces, I'm going to pick one piece that to use for my front neckline. So basically for the front neckline, you can see the neckline is like the same. So for the front neckline, I'm just going to make it a little bit deeper. So I'm just going to come down a little bit. So for the depth of this neckline, I want to increase it a little bit more, as I just want to increase it. I used 1.5 inches earlier. Just increase it. Let it be like 2 inches. Okay. I'm thinking, yeah, it's not too high. It's not too high. I'm just trying to place them together. It is actually easier to when you're cutting them. So I just cut it. So whatever I did not get that end. Okay. So now I'm going to open this up like this, and then I am going to just take one piece that I'm going to use for the front neckline. Okay, so I'll take a piece like this. So for the front neckline, what I'm going to do for the front neckline, I am just going to come down. That's like add like just come down just a little bit, just like half of an inch. I added just like half of an inch to my front neckline like this. Okay, and then the next thing I am going to do, I'm going to put a slit to my front neckline. So before I put that slit to my front neckline, I'm going to check it. Okay, so I'm going to check how deep it's going to be. So I want it to reach like 6 inches. I don't want it to be too deep. Okay, so you can see my own is a little bit deep, but the person that is wearing this one, the person will not want it to show any part. So just come down by 6 inches, and then I'm just going to create a slit. Should I create this? Okay, it's okay. So I just created it. So that's that. So the next thing, I want to shape the sleeve of this dress. So I want to shape the sleeve of this bubu. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one piece, that's like I'll place them together. So I'll place both of them together like this. I just keep that to the side. That's back and front together. Both of them, we actually cut them together. The back and the front, they are this. The only difference is just the depth of the neckline, but the width is the same. Okay, so I'll place them together like this, and from this point I'm going to come down. I'm going to mark how wide I want my sleeve to be. So from this point, you can see I left of an inch on top, so I'm going to come down to like 10 inches or 11 inches, because she's a little bit bigger. Not a little bit, she's big. So I'll come down to like 11 or even 12 inches. Okay, so from that 12 inches, I am just going to 12 inches. So actually use 12 inches. Okay, so from that 12 inches, I'm just take out just a little bit, because I don't want it to be too too tight, like at all. I don't want it to be tight at all. There's something I'm noticing, like my fabric is not equal. You can see one is longer than one, so I'm going to trim that too. I am doing the when I'm doing the final stitching. So now the width that I'm using for this, for my bubu, the width is like 16 inches. Okay, so that is okay. So what I'm going to do now, just trim the sides like this. So I'll trim that out, and then I am going to take a look at it. It's too wide, so I'm going to use about 15 inches. So 15 inches, everything is going to give me, let's see, let me measure it and just reduce it. It's too wide, so let me use this my own, the width of this my own. Okay, so my own width is about 40, about 42. So which is, so if I'm using 42, so from this point, that's where you come and then you mark what you want to use. So if I'm going to use about 14 inches, so I'll mark my 14 inches like this. So use whatever, just mark it. So just, so basically what I'm using 14 inches for the down part, but the top part is still going to be wide like that. So because I'm no I'm I said, like I said, I'm going to be adding ruche to this bubu, so I don't want it to become tight at all. At any point, I don't want it to be tight. So I'll just place them. I should have even done this before separating it. It would have been much easier for me. This that I'm doing now, I should have done it before I opened up. So I'm just going to cut that part open that way. And when I'm doing final stitching, I'm going to do everything out. Okay, so now let's start sewing. So I'm just trying to get some piece of fabric that I will use for the neckline. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, the front neckline, this down part of the front neckline, I'm going to sew. Okay, thank you so much, Mercy. So this front part of the neckline, I'm going to use a face for it. Okay, so it's only the top parts that we are going to turn, that we're going to use, like do a piping for. So that's this part now. I want to sew and turn it. So I'm going to get fabric. I don't have much fabric again. So what I'm going to do, I am going to join this fabric and use it. Okay. I'm just trying to see if this will be enough for me. If it is long enough, so it's not too short. So it will not be popping out. So just watch what I am trying to do. The width is okay. It's the length that is the issue. So I'm just going to I'll just add a little bit. So I want to join it for us to do the neckline. So starting our stitching. So I'm going to adjust my camera this way so that you can see. Okay. So if you are just joining us, you're welcome. So first of all, I want to join this that I want to use for the facing for the down part. That's for the my front neck part. So if you are just joining us, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So now what I'm going to do. So this is the This is the right side, this is the wrong side. So I'm just going to take this, I'll place it like this. Can you see? So what I want to sew is just here. I'll place it and then I'm going to pin it to make it easy for me. Okay, so I'll pin it. Just watch what I'm doing. I think the camera, it looks like the camera is far. Let me bring it closer. Okay, yes, I think it's better. So you can see what I did. I just pinned the neckline. So this part is what where I want to turn now. So that is why. So you can place it. So now I'm going to stitch it. I'm just going to stitch it like this. So you see the way I place the fabric. So I'm going to stitch here like this and then just stitch it like this, okay? And then turn it. So that's what I want to do. Okay, so now I'm going to place this like this and then I am going to start stitching it. So if you are just joining us, you're welcome. So that part I marked. So once I get to that point, I'm going to turn. Can you see? I'm not removing my that part. What I did now, if I continue away, the neckline is going to be too deep. I don't want it to be that deep. Okay. So from that point like that, I am going to take my, what do you call it? My machine. Okay, my needle rather. And then I am going to mark it that way. Okay. So I'm just trying to check, this V neckline. Just trying to check to make sure that everything is okay before I cut. So now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut that point. I'll cut it open. Okay, so you see, so I've cut that open, so that makes it really easy. So the thing I am going to do now, I'm just going to take out my pins and then I would just like just curve this. Can you see? So I just curve it like a V that way. And then the next thing I am going to do, I am going to push this. That's just like push it in. So make sure, so that at this point you need to notch it to the tiniest point. But as you notch, make sure it does not tear. Okay, so when you finish notching it, you're just going to use your hands to push it in. Okay, and then you will iron it. So I'll take that now back ironing table. I want to iron it. So that part is not still relaxed. So something is wrong. So I need to check what is wrong with that point. So I just open that up, making sure to relax. I need to restitch that part. It's not doing well. So I'll just open this up like this and then I am going to stitch. So if you are just joining us, you're welcome. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like the video. I would appreciate it. The truth of the matter is that today I don't have plenty strength. That's just I just pray for God to give me the strength. If you don't do it that way, it's not going to relax nice and properly. So I'm just going to notch it now and then I will push it in. So I'll take that to my ironing table and then iron it. back. So I'll show you how the neckline looks so you can see how neat it is looking. Can you see? So you see how neat, is very neat and fine. So the next thing you're going to do, this excess that is on the top, trim that out. So you are done with that neckline. So can you see? You see the neckline, you see this straight part, you see. So that part. The next thing we want to do now, we want to join our bubu together. So we have done that already. So now I'm going to take back piece and then I'll place them together like this, and then we're going to join them on the shoulder line, join them along the shoulder line. So I'm joining it along the shoulder line. Sometimes when you are sewing and your thread is cutting, it can be so frustrating. But thank God this one is not cutting. I actually don't know what happened. So I'll place that back in and then we would continue. So this project is a very beginner friendly tutorial for those of you that are just starting your sewing journey. So this is like one easy project that you can actually do. So I'll join it on the shoulder, on the two shoulder, and then join the other part of the shoulder. Just join. So always make sure you back stitch. Okay, so to the reason why we do back stitching for beginners that don't know is to stabilize it, like to make the thread not to cut on your dress. You understand? That's on the piece. Now I have done that. So I'll cut this out. Just make sure always cut all your thread. I remember that first time when I started sewing, I don't used to cut my thread like. So the next thing I want to do now, I want to join the side of this bubu. So I just want to double check it again to make sure that it is not too big. So it is okay. So what I'm going to do, so it's a simple process. So I'm just going to stitch and negate the curve that we did earlier on. So I'll show you how to pipe the neckline, okay? Like what I'm, so that's just like basically what we are learning how to sew to. So I'll just do that. I know that most times when you sew, I actually did not have a picture to put. So when I finish sewing this one, I'm going to snap it. I'll now use the picture as the thumb picture. So I'll just, so when I'm sewing, I want to make sure that everything is laid out straight. So always make sure you check that, okay? Always make sure you check that. One of these days I'm going to come and show you guys how to do some lines on our live stream. We're going to cut and sew them. I don't even know, maybe tomorrow we're going to do that. I'm just going to pick some and then we'll cut them and join them back. I'll need to work that out. So now we are done. So like I said, let me just leave it first. Let me not cut when I finish. So the next thing we will do now, we'll create our ruche on the side. It is a simple, creating the ruche on the side is like the easiest. So before that, okay, so let me trim since I'm going to be creating the ruche. And then creating the ruche also, you have to finish what do you call it, hemming the down of your blouse. Before you actually do that, you have to finish it. So the first thing we're going to do, let's hem the down of our blouse, okay? So because our fabric is not big, we're just going to do tiny, tiny, tiny hem. That's just tiny stitch. It's not, our fabric is, so we're just going to do it small. If it was not because of the ruche, I would left it so that I can do this after the class. just to save those people that don't want to go this. So but in order for you to create that, you need to make sure that you have finished the down part. The good thing with all of these adire is that the fabric is, before washing, the fabric is very structured. So most times anything you are using it to sew enters very well. So if you are just joining us, you're welcome. Please, thank you so much. Nexa, thank you so much. Appreciate. God bless you for joining and for greeting. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Actually, don't take that for granted. Everybody that joins my live stream, I appreciate you all. I really appreciate you guys. So thank you if you're just joining us. Please let me know where you're watching from. You can say hello, you can say hi. Yes, say hello, say hi. Just say hello, say hi. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. So we are almost done. Done. I know some of you can, like, wow. Ah, the truth of the matter is that being adult, sometimes I wish I could just go back to those days where I did not care about anything, like no wahala, no my dear. Those days where I just wake up, eat food, sleep, go out, go to school, come back. Like sometimes I really wish, like adulthood, I be adultness, whatever, could really be overwhelming. So now we are done with that. So now let's create the ruche, okay? The side part of our ruche to make it easy. I think I kept a fabric here. Oh, that fabric that I kept is what I used though for the neckline. Like seriously? Oh, so I'm just trying to get fabric that I will use, okay? So I'm just managing this fabric. I don't have much fabric, so I'll cut here. The ruche, I don't want it to be too big. Don't I want it to be too big because the longer the ruche, the more it will draw the dress, the shorter it will become. Since I don't want that, I'm just going to work with this dimension. Let's measure and see what we have. So what I have here is about 15 inches, and then the width of what I have is about 4 inches. So I'm going to check it first before we place on it. So you can see how I am opening it. I'm opening it like this. So I'm going to open it like this. So because that 15 will be too long, so now let's work with, so you can see why you need to hem in this part. So this is what it's going to be. I'm going to leave like an inches up, and then I'm going to come. I want it to stop, guys. I want it to stop here, so I'm going to cut. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just trying to eyeball this, and then I'll cut this, okay? So this is what I want. Let it reach that point. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to check it, and then I'll measure it and tell you guys exact measurement, so you can use the same exact measurements when you're making your own, okay? So the next thing now, so let's measure and see the length that we have. So the length that we have now is about 9 inches. So now what we are going to do now, so you are going to take the center of your bubu. You are going to like butterfly, that's like open it up. You can decide to iron it open up, or you can decide to leave it, no problem. So now we're going to sew this on the side. So I'll show you guys how we're going to stitch this. So let me get my chalk. So we're going to do 3 stitch on it. First one, the first one is going to be at the center like this. It is a simple process. The first one is going to be at the center, and then the second one is going to be here. You can see, like I said, just 3 basic lines. That is what we are stitching on. Then the third one is going to be here like this. So 3 lines are what all we need to stitch. So you get the midpoint first, you will mark it like this, and then I'm going to get a side. So you can use 1 inch or 2 inches intervals, depends on how wide your fabric, the fabric you're working with is. But since my own is not that wide, so I have a 1 inch. So now we're going to place this on the side to stitch this. So now you open up your dress, you open that up, and then you're going to take this like this. So you can use your pins to pin it to make it easy. You understand? You can pin it. And the next thing, so like I said, I came up 1 inch a little bit, so so that it will not, you understand, it will not be coming out from the side of your dress. So just bring it up. So the first line you should sew is the center one. You understand? Oh, I actually placed this thing at the wrong side, so I have to redo that. That's the inside part. That's where I actually marked. That's I marked the wrong side of my fabric. What I'm trying to say, it should not be like that, because let the good side show inside. So I'll place that like that, and then I'm going to, so like I said, just come up by 1 inch or half inch, anything that will make it not to come out on your dress. So the next thing, you take that exact center stitch line, that's what you are going to like trace. You understand? So you can allow your seam, you can butterfly your seam open, or you can flip the seams to one side, and then you would sew, and then you will sew it. So my own, what I did, I just flipped the seams to one side, and then once I got to that top part, I'm just going to like back stitch it. Okay, and then I would open that up, and then I would the other two stitches, just like I explained to you guys, so you can see. So you place it, and then you screw the second one. So whatever you are doing, this part, you have to just use your hands, like open up the dress. You understand? Use your hands to open it up. Use your hands to open it up. Okay, so you cut that out, and then we're going to do the last one. The truth of the matter is, I don't even know the um, the tutorials that I should do. If I should do beginners tutorials more, should do intermediate or advanced. You guys should tell me what you would want. It's just that YouTube does not give you what do you call it? It does not give you the, so you can see how this looks outside. Can you see? So now I can cut all of my threads, just cut them all out neatly and nice. I already have my boo top. Well, so that's the part we are going to, just like I said, it's just a small part. So now we're going to do to this other part also. We're going to stitch other one also. So I'm going to just like butterfly it like I did, and then I'm going to place this like this. Okay, I'll just come up like 1 inch or half of an inch, and then I'll stitch the center of the fabric that I placed. So this particular fabric, you can stitch it round. Okay, or you can just use an overlock to overlock. So I'll just back stitch it that way. So we're almost done. The next thing, that what is just remaining now, is for us to pipe the neckline. And then after piping the neckline, it's going to remain the sleeve. So since the sleeve, I'm not going to be doing it a ton of, I might not necessarily do that here, so just for me to fold it. So I'm going to, now I'm stitching the other part of the side. So when doing this, just make sure you use a matching thread, because you know the thread is going to show on the right side. So use the matching thread, the particular matching thread that you want. So that's what you should use. And then I'm going to stitch the last one right now. I'll place it this way, and then I am going to stitch. Happen. That part did not stitch. It's like the thread under has finished. Wow. I hope I have thread. It's nice. This sometimes when that's the part that I hate the most. When you are sewing and then the thread from your bobby gets finished, like whoa. So most times what I normally do before I start sewing, I'll just make like 3 or 4. Depends on the volume of what I'm doing. I just make like 3 or 4 and keep it before I start. Okay, so let's last one and then pipe the neckline. I'll show you how to do the piping of lines. It's a simple process, okay? Okay, so now we are done. We are done. What happened now? I know they like all these kind of things, so just imagine you sewing a very long and then you find out that that stitch did not stitch because maybe the thread under got finished, like or the thing cut and you did not know, you just busy and continue, you just be sewing like oh my. So now I'm going to open it and then cut off all of these jaga jaga threads. So I'm just cutting all of this out and then we are done. So the next thing we want to do is for us to pipe the neckline. So I'll get the fabric now that I'm going to use. So before we do that, I'm going to unbring it to the right side. So I'll go to my ironing table now and iron this and then come back. Okay, so I'm back. So for those of you that are going to be watching it later, you can actually use your timestamp and just move the video forward on this part where I went to go and iron. So now what is remaining now is just for us to pipe this neckline. You can see our piece is beautiful and looking good. So I'm trying to find leftover fabrics that I'm gonna be making use of. I don't have fabric again. My fabric has almost finished. So I want to check what I've got here. Let me see if this one will be enough. did not even go. And I actually did not want to join it though. Actually did not want to join it. Moments I shall remember, checking on the thank you. So I have this. mm, Let me just. I've used it before, but let me just trim. So I'm just going to trim this. So I'll trim this out. So let me first of all check what I need. Okay. So I'll just cut. So just like half of this. That's what I actually need. I'll cut that. I'll just leave that to the side. And then this other one, I'm going to trim it, and then I'll take it back to my ironing table and iron it. I'll iron it properly. Let me iron it so that I can use it. Okay. Oh, of course, I think. Now. Yeah, yeah. So I've ironed it. So I just want to give it like the final trimming before we start. I don't. Most times when I'm doing piping, I usually don't want my fabric to be too small, because most times when it is too small, that's where the whole wahala is. You will struggle and struggle and struggle with it. I don't like it. This one, what I have here is 1.5. Most times I normally even prefer like 2 inches, because I really don't want. So now we're going to start from. So when you are doing this kind of piping, you sew it from inside out. So this is the inside. You take this and then you place it here, so you will see. So I left some a little bit out, so that will help me. So what I'm going to do now, navigate. I will navigate the curve of the neckline. You understand? So that is just basically what I am going to be doing. So that is piping the neckline. So if you don't want to use a bias, it's as if you don't want to turn it with what do you call it? So this particular fabric actually is not straight already. So you should cut it like on bias, so that it will be easy for you to navigate around the neckline. This my like I said, I've used it before. Since it's not straight, so actually it did not have any problem. So you stitch it from the inside and then bring it to the right side. So that is how it is done. So I'm going to cut this and then show you how it is before we continue. So you say I have some excess, so I'll cut that excess out, and then I am going to take this. So just make sure you cut out every of the thread. Oh God. Oh, pardon. Okay. I actually did not want to have any errors with this. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this. Can you see the way I'm using my hands to do this? And then I'll take this like this, that excess. So that is why I need that extra bit of allowance there. So it will help the neckline to relax. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this one like this and then fold it two. Can you see? You see how beautiful this is going to lay? So that's for the front part. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start stitching it down like that, just the way I placed it. Just fold one, two, and then you are good to go. You're going to start stitching it down. You just use your hand to navigate it. Just use why I folded it one, two. And then so at this point you don't want to wash because it is the finished part of the neckline, so you need it to be straight, you need it to be neat, so you don't need, yes, so just take it gently and just stitch it gently, so you can see. So I'm just trying to make sure, use my hands as I do it. I'll use my hands to just snap the curve like this. Oh, 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 oh. So once I get to the other end, remember the same thing that I did. So this one, I'm going to use my hand, see it here, this part, my hand to push it inside again, just like I did with the first one with the other side. And then I would, so this my camera. I think maybe I'm going to have to adjust it and bring it to the side, look for a better place to place it. So with that, it will be easy. Put it behind me like this. Let it just be like here, so you can see exactly what I'm doing on the table. Maybe in our next class, I will do that. All right, so guys, so you can see. Can you see the neckline? Isn't this pretty? So you can see the neckline. Simple, beautiful, and easy. So we are done, very done with today's class. So the next thing is just for us to pass our rope. You all know how to pass the rope through it. So you pass your rope, you're just going to use your pin, pass the rope like this and then like this. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm just going to use my bias. I'm not sure I have power for sewing rope. So I'm just going to make use of my bias. So let's do it. Let's get that before we go. So like I said, thank you so much for joining. So tomorrow by God's grace, I just pray. I just pray. So I'll just pass it that way. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Olani Reti. You're welcome. Chineye. You're welcome. Thank you so much. We are done already. So, but like I said, by God's grace, tomorrow I'll be coming out. I'll show you guys how to do some. I'll work on some necklines, I think. So you see, I'll just pass this through and then bring it out from this other side. Okay. So when I'm going to place this on my mannequin, and then we're going to give it a good snap. We're going to give it a good photo shoot. So the next thing, I'm just going to pull this. I don't want to waste my bias, I beg. So I'll just give it a good push here because I don't want the rope to come out from the under. Okay, I don't know, maybe the owner might like it. The owner might like the rope, so let me to cut it. So that's how you actually push the rope. So let me use the normal rope for her. The owner might like it, so let me put the normal fabric rope for her. So I'll see you guys too. God bless you all that joined. God bless you all. Appreciate you all. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. So this like 51 minutes. That's okay.